Welcome to the Protagonist Pub. My name is Tammy. And a mouthy bird named Pickles. And this is where characters gather. And today we... Excuse me while I go get the bird. Okay. Bird acquired. Let's see how well he behaves when he's over here. Today we're going to do what is going to be, unfortunately, far briefer than I thought it would be. A viewer request, and that is in response to my community post which said, I am bankrupt of ideas. However, she had two good ones, and that is Jojo Lynn at 6887. I will link her channel down below. And she requested Catholic fiction, which I do regularly. But she also requested non-feminist stay-at-home mom fiction, which sounded great. Do you know how hard that is to find? Just feminist or not, it is very hard to find specifically stay-at-home mom books. Fireball, that is enough. So I have a couple of choices. I have read at least one or two of the authors. So they are all available. I got some from the library. Some of them may be available on Kindle Unlimited. So first up would be Bundle of Trouble by Diana Orgain. This is the first book in the... It's going to be fun doing this with the bird on my fingers. Maternal Instincts Mystery. And forgive me, all of these are cozy mysteries. And I will read you the description. By the way, this is her debut book. Office manager Kate Connolly becomes a super sleuth and a new mom in the same week. From the moment she and newborn Lori lock eyes, Kate can't imagine returning to work after her 6-week maternity leave. But in expensive San Francisco, she and her ad exec husband, Jim, need every bit of both incomes. Then a dead body is fished out of the bay and linked to Jim's estranged brother, George. Both the police and PI Albert Galligingi, I butchered that, hired by the dead man's mother, believe that Jim and Kate know more than they're revealing. Kate is determined to find the elusive George and get some answers, but she soon gets in over her head. Galligingi serves as a charming mentor to Kate as Kate navigates the twists of motherhood in an uncomplicated but engaging plot. So, whoa, buddy. No. I have read this one. I enjoyed it. I didn't continue the series because, not being a mother myself, it wasn't necessarily something I, at the time I read it, wanted to navigate. However, it was perfectly enjoyable. And, you know, if you like cozy mysteries and you're looking for a mom book, this one is terrific. She is not completely stay-at-home. I don't think any of these are completely stay-at-home mom mysteries, because books in general, because they're seriously, it's impossible to find. So next up is Moving as Murder by Sarah Rosette. This is the first in the Mom Zone series, and she is a military wife. And you have really sharp nails, buddy. Yeah, you have really sharp nails. Yeah. When Air Force wife and professional organizer Ellie Avery stumbles upon... Excuse me. Okay, the bird is now eating her tortilla. Back to what I was saying. When Air Force wife and professional organizer Ellie Avery stumbles upon the dead body of an environmental activist on her way home from a barbecue, she follows a trail of alcoholism, blackmail, deceit, debt, and illicit medical treatment that leads to her husband's best friend. I read this. It was published in 2006. I do not recall this being overly feminist. And as I recall, she has kids. So, should be right up the alley. Next up is the first book in the Lucy Stone series. Lucy is a stay-at-home mom, but she also has a job in her small town in Maine. And the early books in this series are terrific. The closer you are to present day in the series, the books go completely off the rails, and I have stopped reading them. But the first books in the series were fantastic, and the first one was published in 1993. So it is, like I said, the first book in the series is great. And there are currently, trying to see how many books there are in this series. Hang on. Yeah, there are 30 books currently in the series. So as you can imagine, the closer you are to present day, the more politics intrudes. And they're all themed around holidays. So here's the first one. That's Mistletoe Murder. Here's the description. As if baking cookies, knitting a sweater for her husband's gift, and making her daughter's angel costume for the church pageant wasn't enough, things for Lucy Stone's busy Christmas schedule, she's also working nights at the famous mail-order company Country Cousins. But when she discovers Sam Miller, its very wealthy founder, dead in his car from apparent suicide, the sleuth in her knows something just doesn't feel right. Taking time out from her hectic holiday life to find out what really happened, her investigation leads into a backlog of secrets as long as Santa's Christmas Eve route. Lucy is convinced that someone murdered Sam Miller. But who and why? With each harrowing twist she uncovers in this bizarre case, another shocking revelation is exposed. Now, as Christmas draws near and Lucy gets dangerously closer to the truth, she's about to receive a present from Santa she didn't ask for. A killer who won't be satisfied until everyone on his shopping list is dead, including Lucy herself. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed these books right up until 2012, 2015 timeframe, when it became more important to insert politics into the story than it was to tell a decent story. But until then, the books are fantastic. Her kids and her husband are a vital part of the story. And while she's not a completely stay-at-home mom and her career does, grow and change as the books continue, she is always there for her kids. Very, very, very much always there for her kids. Okay, next up, personal favorite. Catering to Nobody. This is the first in the Goldie Bear Culinary Mystery Series. It's by Diane Mott Davidson. It was first published in 1990. I love these books. The recipes are delicious. The stories are fantastic. And she, again, is a mom that works out of her house as a caterer. So I will read you the description. Meet the caterer who whipped up the multi-million copy mystery series as Goldie solves her first murder. Catering a wake is not Goldie's idea of fun. Yet the Colorado caterer throws herself into preparing Parrots, much like children, have a timer. And I am about to exceed his. So, okay. Catering a wake is not Goldie's idea of fun. Yet, the Colorado caterer throws herself into preparing a savory feast, including poached salmon and strawberry shortcake. Buffet designed to soothe 40 mourners. And her culinary efforts seem to be exactly what the doctor ordered. Until her ex-father-in-law, gynecologist Fritz Corman, is struck down and Goldie is accused of adding poison to the menu. Now, with the Department of Health impounding her leftovers, her ex-husband proclaiming her guilt, and her business about to be shut down, Goldie knows she can't wait for the police to serve up the answers. She'll soon uncover more than one family skeleton and a veritable stew of unpalatable secrets. The kind that could make Goldie the main course in an unsavory killer's next menu. I absolutely love these books. We all know I'm not a huge rereader. I would reread these in a heartbeat. I love these books so much that I purchased her nonfiction book that had the recipes in it. And one of the best recipes for brownies on the face of the earth is Scout's Brownies. Not sure which book it appears in, but it's in the nonfiction for sure. And they're delicious. So I highly recommend that series. Okay, next up is one I have not read, but in doing research, it came up as a possible choice. That is Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. I do want to read this. It is the first book in the Firefly Lane series. I think it's a duology. And I will read you the blurb. In the turbulent summer of 1974, Kate Malarkey has accepted her place at the bottom of the 8th grade social food chain. Then, to her amazement, the coolest girl in the world moves across the street and wants to be her friend. Tully Hart seems to have it all: beauty, brains, ambition. On the surface, they are as opposite as two people can be. Kate, doomed to be forever uncool, with a loving family who mortifies her at every turn. Tully, steeped in glamour and mystery, but with a secret that is destroying her. They make a pact to be best friends forever. By summer's end, they've become Tully and Kate, inseparable. So begins Kristen Hanna's magnificent new novel. Spending more than 3 decades in playing out across the ever-changing face of the Pacific Northwest, Firefly Lane is a poignant, powerful story of 2 women and the friendship that becomes the bulkhead of their lives. From the beginning, Tully is desperate to prove her worth to the world. Abandoned by her mother at an early age, she longs to be loved unconditionally. In the glittering, big hair era of the 80s, she looks to men to fill the void in her soul. But in the buttoned-down 90s, it is television news that captivates her. She will follow her own blind ambition to New York and around the globe, finding fame and success, and loneliness. Kate knows early on that her life will be nothing special. Throughout college, she pretends to be driven by a need for success. But all she really wants is to fall in love and have children and live an ordinary life. In her own quiet way, Kate is as driven as Tully. What she doesn't know is how being a wife and mother will change her. How she'll lose sight of who she once was, what she once wanted. And how much she'll envy her famous best friend. For 30 years, Tully and Kate buoy each other through life, weathering the storms of friendship, jealousy, anger, hurt, resentment. They think they've survived it all until a single act of betrayal tears them apart and puts their courage and friendship to the ultimate test. So, it doesn't sound like it's overly mother and child specific, but it was recommended as a stay-at-home mom book, so my guess is Tully's story is mom-centric. Okay, and last up on this list is a book I have not read, and I don't believe I've read anything by this author. That is Mother's Day Out by Karen McInerney. It is the first book in the Margie Peterson mystery series, and I believe this is a trilogy. Margie Peterson is a typical stay-at-home mom until she trades dishes for detective work to become Austin's least likely PI. Soon, she's knee-deep in cheating husbands, transvestites, and trouble in a laugh-out-loud new mystery from award-winning author Karen McInerney. With a husband who works long hours trying to make partner and two rambunctious kids that are running her ragged, Margie Peterson is like any other worn-out suburban mom. When she decides to take a job as a PI for a seedy local detective agency, everything changes. It doesn't take long for Margie to get in over her head. Her first day on the job, she totals her minivan, mistakenly enters a drag contest, and winds up in the bathroom with a dead transvestite. But when Margie finds her home number in the victim's phone, things really start to get interesting. So this was published in 2012. It should be relatively politically free, but you never know. However, that was the last book I could find that had a stay-at-home mom protagonist that wasn't written by Stephen King. And yeah, I just stay away from Stephen King. So if you know of any, please leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, and I will see you here next time at the Protagonist Pub.